Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Umajnanattimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunadan Vitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपति गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Isvaraga Paramaha Krishna Ga Satchidananda Vigraga Anadi Radhir Govindaga Sarva Karana Karanam Om Tat Sat Hare Krishna. By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge which can be joyfully performed and everlasting, Susukam Kartum Avya. By Krishna's causeless mercy, now we are successfully studying in the 18th chapter, the conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. So now we are studying about the karma, action in three modes of material nature. We already finished about the jnana, knowledge. We all already very well know that for an action to happen, that means what motivates an action, there are three factors. Jnanam, Jneyam, Parignatam. These three factors motivate an action. So we should not forget, that's why I'm repeating this again and again. There is knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower of knowledge. All related to knowledge. Jnanam, Jneyam, Parignatam. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower of knowledge. Then there are three factors which make an action to happen. See, three factors which creates an action. The three factors which creates an action. But in order to execute that action, there are three factors. They are different factors. So, there is, Krishna is saying that Karanam, Karma, Karta. Karanam, Karma, Karta. These are the three factors which perform an action. So Karanam means to the instruments needed to perform that action, including our senses and all other instruments which are needed. Even though if knowledge is there, the knower of knowledge is there, and the object of knowledge, everything is there. But if we don't have all the needed equipments to perform that an action, then it can't happen. So, if you want to go from one city to another city, maybe which is 300, 500 kilometers away within an hour, so then definitely Now it is possible only to go by plane, by flight. So without that, even though we have all the knowledge about like going, it is possible to go by flight, plane to within very quickly and all those things. But if there are no tickets available, if we can't get in, if we can't get the flight, all these things, if they don't come together, then action will not happen. That's what we need to understand. So that's what is karanam. And then the performer, karanam, then karma, the action itself, and then karta, the performer of that action. So as I mentioned in the past, the performer may be different from the knower. The knower of an action need not perform that action. So the performer may be different, so to do that action. So that way, this is a very important science Krishna is teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita very clear. We need to act on this. That means we should not think that we are doing anything. We are not the doer. If we think that we are the doer, then we are going to be bound and we are going to suffer the results. There is nothing like enjoyment at all. The material results, it is really not an enjoyment. It is a source of suffering only. We think that we are enjoying in this material world, maybe eating food or watching some movies or going outside and talking and playing games, all these things. We think that it's enjoyment. But that is the source of our suffering. That's what is binding us to this material world. So that is not an enjoyment. What we are doing in this world, it is not an enjoyment at all. The real enjoyment comes when we are focusing our mind on Krishna. When we do everything for Krishna, then real enjoyment comes. When we think about Krishna, when we talk about Krishna, when we render devotional service unto Krishna, study this Bhagavad Gita, and engage ourselves in the glorification of the Supreme Lord, and participate in the kirtan, chanting and dancing, while performing Hare Krishna kirtans. So, these are all the things which will bring us enjoyment, happiness. Not our attachment to this material world, gaining material assets, and gaining name and fame, and improving our bank balance, or all these things, they are not going to bring us enjoyment. They are not going to bring us happiness. Because in order to gain all this material assets in this material world, we are doing it. We are gaining that at the expense of our human birth, our time in this material world. That's what we are gaining. If somebody thinks that he has become so rich and all those things, and he is working so hard to maintain his portfolio and everything, so we should not be thinking that that person is great. He can be the richest person in this world, billions. But if he has no time to sit and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and think about Krishna and focus the mind on Krishna and surrender unto Krishna and forget about everything in this material world, if that person is not able to do all these things, so then he's actually wasting this human body, human life. That's what we need to understand. This is a great opportunity. We got it. We cannot lose it. We cannot misuse, abuse, and then lose this opportunity to purify ourselves. That's what is very important. By performing all kinds of demoniac activities, we are making sure that we're going to hell. That's not good. That means we are going to come back. We're going to suffer. We're going to struggle. So this is enough. Enough is enough. That's what we need to understand. We should not go through this kind of material birth and the death and the suffering, dukkha, and disease, and all those things repeatedly. It's not fun at all. But we are very fortunate, extremely fortunate, that we have got the solution. We have got the opportunity to free ourselves from this material bondage. We have to make use of this great opportunity. So that means our day-to-day activities should be very much regulated. It should be in our hands what we are going to do, how we are going to do, all those things. That means we need to make our life very simple and easy. We should have enough time to sleep and enough time to eat Krishna Prasadam, offer, prepare and offer to Krishna and then honor it. We should have enough time to do that. We should have enough time to study this Bhagavad Gita like what we are doing, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and prepare and offer prasadam to Krishna, and always keep in contact with only devotees, and do everything in Krishna consciousness as an offering unto Krishna. So we should be able to find time to do all these things. That's what is known as yukta. That also we have studied many times in Bhagavad Gita, we have understood. That's what is going to bring us Krishna's causeless mercy. I'm almost repeating this every day in our class, that by connecting ourselves with Krishna, by doing everything for Krishna, we are receiving Krishna's causeless mercy. So that means, even materially speaking, we are becoming more prosperous. It is a reality. Even materially speaking, we will gain much more than what we need. Because that is Krishna's job. He wants his devotee to be very much taken care. That's what he wants. That's what Krishna wants. Krishna doesn't want us to suffer in this material world. So that means Krishna is not going to test us by giving us suffering. Sometimes devotees or people say that if there is some suffering, we think or say that it is Krishna is testing. That is not true. That's not at all true. I mentioned this fact also several times in the past. There is no need for Krishna to test us to know that we are his devotees, or there is no need for Krishna to test us so that the others can believe us that we are devotees. It's not needed at all. If we are suffering means it is because of our sinful reactions. If we are suffering means it means we have not fully surrendered unto Krishna. That is the reality. That is the fact. We are not fully surrendered unto Krishna. We are not fully depending on Krishna. That will be the only reason we will be suffering in this material world. So Bhagavad Gita brings us happiness because it brings us peace of mind. Jnanam labdva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So that means we are not going to suffer anymore. If we are going to get Param Shanti, what does that mean? If we get supreme peace, what does that mean? That means no more suffering. We are not going to suffer. With this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, especially if we are engaged in spreading Krishna's message and identifying devotees, we should engage in this act only, this service only, spreading Krishna's message. Bhagavad Gita, that should be our only goal, nothing else. If you do that, then we will be able to perform yajna, dana, tapa, karma. We won't be attached to the results of activities. We won't be greedy. There is no room for greediness. There is lobha and kama. There is no need for lust and no need for anger, krodha, nothing. Kama krodha vimuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate vijitatmanam. So that's what is going to happen. So we should be freed from kama and krodha. If you are getting angry for anything, that means we are attached to material sense objects. Even in Krishna conscious way also, there is no need to get angry. Even if somebody is blaspheming Krishna, then I'm going to get angry. That's also not correct. Only thing we should make sure that we should not interact with such persons and make him to blaspheme Krishna more. That we should be intelligent enough. If we are engaging in a conversation with someone about Bhagavad Gita or about this philosophy, and if that person is starting to blaspheme Krishna, then just stop that kind of conversation. That's what we are supposed to do. There is no need to argue and convince that person that he should become a devotee of Krishna. That is not possible. So that way, Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the king of knowledge, which takes us to Goloka, and we are on the right way, right path, on the way to Goloka. Now we are successfully studying in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So in the 18th chapter, what we are studying, in the sloka number 23, we already finished the action in the mode of goodness and passion, karma in the mode of goodness and passion. So Krishna is teaching us niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam apala prepsuna karma yatat satvikam uchyate. So the karma, the action in the mode of goodness, it should be regulated, niyatam, and it should be free from all attachments, sangarahitam, and it should be free from desire and hatred, ragadvesatagritam, apalaprepshuna karma. So not getting attached to the results of activities, apalaprepshuna karma. In fact, attached to like Krishna. That's all. Apalaprepshuna means Krishna prepshuna. So it's attached to Krishna. Apalaprepshuna karma. Yatat satvikam uchyate. So that kind of action, so that kind of karma is in the mode of goodness. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. Then in the next sloka, Krishna is continuing. This sloka number 24. Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena va pulaka kriyate bahulayasam tadrajasam udakritam yattu kamepsuna karma. That is, when we are attached to the results of activities, that's what kamepsuna karma. In the previous sloka, apalaprepsha. So that actions with attachment to the results and again performed with the thinking that we are the doer, ahankara, ahankarena vapuna, and kriyate bahulayasam, and performed with intense labor. So tatrajasam udahritam. So that kind of action is said to be in the mode of passion. So rajasam, in the mode of passion. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. That's what Krishna is teaching us. In the next sloka, what we are continuing today, studying today, in the mode of ignorance, Anubantam Kshayam Himsham Anapekshya cha Paurusham Muhadarabhyate Karma Yattamasam Uchyate. Anubandam Kshayam Himsham. Anubandam means future bondage. Kshayam Himsam, that is distress to others, which causes distress to others. Kshayam Himsam. Himsam means we are causing distress. Himsa, like ahimsa. It's opposite. Ahimsa means non-violence. Himsa means violence. That's what himsa. So kshayam. Kshayam means it's a destruction. Anapeksha means not seeing without considering the consequences. Not seeing anapeksha. Not seeing the consequences. And harshness, paurusham, self-sanction. And mohadarabhyate karma. That activity which is born of illusion. Mohadarabhyate karma. Yatta tamasam uchyate. So that kind of activity is in the mode of ignorance. So that's what Krishna is teaching us. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. By Krishna's causeless mercy, now we have successfully finished 25th slokam in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. I have to leave now. Visit college today, so I won't be able to chant and like ask for questions. But hopefully tomorrow we can do that. So I'll start a little bit earlier also tomorrow. Hare Krishna. We'll again see tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.